So, to start with the rotating a doorknob problem, what I did is start with keeping my thumb at the top of the circle, thinking about the degrees of a circle. And so what I did is thinking my thumb was at the top at 0 degrees, and I turned the doorknob with my hand, seeing which way my thumb pointed after it would be able to open and be able to go through the doorway. So what I figured out is when turning the doorknob, and this isn't the best angle for the picture, but when turning the doorknob, my thumb was pointing to 45 degrees. And so by using that and the unit circle with the degrees, I could figure out that I must turn the doorknob 45 degrees in order to open the door. For my second problem, I did the formulas. I believe it was number, look, I believe it was 20 something. Sorry. But so what I did is number 18I. And so we had to do is find the areas of these different shapes here. And so what I did is, in order to find the area of this shape, since it's not something I'm used to and I don't have the formula to be able to find the area of this shape, I looked at the different shapes here and what shapes do I see that I do know. So I know how to find the area of a triangle, the area of a circle, the area of a rectangle, the area of a square. And so I see here that this long cylinder part here, that could be a rectangle. And so I know the area of a rectangle here, which is the length times the width. And so they gave us my length of 6 centimeters, my width of 2 centimeters. So I have my 12 centimeters squared. And then I have these two triangles here. Well, since they told me this height is 4 and this height is 6, I was able to figure out the height of the triangle here is 2 centimeters. And since the big width here is 5 centimeters and I knew the middle is 2, total it's 3 centimeters. So if it's equal on both sides, I have 1.5 centimeters. So I was able to find the area of one of these triangles, multiply it by 2, and I would know this two red triangles here would give me 3 centimeters squared. And so if I add those two together, I can get the area of this whole shape here of 15 centimeters squared. I did something very similar for this shape here. So what I did is we have this shape and they told us from the two different points is 3 centimeters. So what I can see here is 4 semicircles with a square or a rectangle, whichever you'd like to look at. But so since I know this is 3 centimeters and that's my diameter, we see here that our radius is 1.5 centimeters. And so I used the square or the rectangle and did length times width, which would be the same as the side squared, and got 3 centimeters times 3 centimeters. So I have my 9 centimeters squared. Then I have 4 semicircles. So I used a half times pi r squared, but I had to multiply that by 4. So after getting this total area, all of the semicircles would be 14.13 centimeters squared. And so adding that square is where I got the total 23.13 centimeters squared. So being able to see that I see this square or rectangle here and the 4 semicircles, and using my prior knowledge of the formulas I do know how to find, I could find the total area. And then lastly I have this shape here, which I actually forgot to blank this part out, which I could do very quickly, hopefully. And so really that shouldn't be there. Sorry about that. So let's blank that out. So here I have this shape, and I don't know how to find the area of this shape here, so what I did is cut it into two different shapes that I do know the formulas for, and use the prior knowledge. So I have my area of a rectangle here, which will give me the length times the width. So I have my 12 centimeters squared for this bottom part. Then the top we see is a semicircle, which I know is a half times pi radius squared. Oh, I did mess that up. No, that's correct. So a half times pi r squared, and so I got the 14.13. By adding those two, I could get my total area. So by doing this, what I did is looking at our shapes, breaking it down, and noticing shapes that I do know how to find the area of using a formula, and being able to combine that and find total areas.